What's up, everybody? There's something that I've been thinking about, probably over the last month or two, and I've been wanting to kind of make a video about it just because I think it's interesting and I think it's important to understand. And what I want to kind of talk about and kind of demonstrate is the significance of the pickup, whether or not you're starting on the one, like where you start on beat one, or if you're starting before and kind of playing an anticipation note before beat one. So I kind of got into this. This kind of came back, I should say, over the last couple months as I've been doing a program up in Jersey City, Segunda Quimbamba. Actually, shout out Segunda Quimbamba up in Jersey City. They teach traditional Puerto Rican drum and dance based around Bomba. And throughout the session, we learned about two rhythms. One was Bomba, and the second one was Holande. And when we were learning Holande, I kind of came to a realization. There's going to be like two parts of this video, by the way. I kind of came to a realization based on an experience or experiences I had a long time ago in regard to this, where I played a pattern and I wasn't 100% sure where the downbeat was. So there's three moments that I'm going to kind of share when it comes to the pickup notes or just understanding where beat one is. One, I'm going to go all the way back to, I guess I was in like my early 20s or so. And I'm really good friends with a Venezuelan family. Shout out to the Pilonietas. Love you guys. Hope all is well. My friend Esteban, his mom, Manelli, my mama Nelly, at parties and stuff, we would always, I would bring my cajon. My buddy Chris would bring his guitar. Esteban played guitar and sang. And their whole family would sing and everything, which seems to be really common in Latin American families. So basically, she would sing a pattern to me, and I would play it on the cajon. And from what I remember, I believe the pattern was a tambores pattern, and correct me if I'm wrong. She would basically just like in the moment, she would like kind of just sing it and just like motion for me to start. So she'd be like, "Tukatu ka, tukatu ka, tukatu ka." She'd be very animated about it. So I'd like kind of freak out, like, okay, let me try it. And, I picked it up, right? Just. Right? So that's the pattern. And in my head, speaking of downbeats versus pickups, in my head, this pattern started on a downbeat, right? So I'm going to put on a metronome. And it's in a 3 feel or a 6/8 feel, depending on how you're thinking about it. Right? So if you can hear the metronome, ba, do, do, ba, do, do. Here's how I felt it. Right? So my first bass tone was beat one. Okay? And I always just assumed that was right because, like, she would sing it, I would play it, and she would motion that it's good, and they would start singing to it. But what always tripped me up was when they started singing, it always felt like they were singing, like, off of the beat. Right? And this is me on my, where my downbeat was, right? I just kind of tried to block out the singing and just kept it going. Because if I kept it going, they were cool, everyone was happy. Nobody's giving me funny looks. So, like I said, I played it. I felt it on the downbeat. And then going back to the Segunda Quimbamba experience that I had recently, I realized how the pickup can be played and you might not realize it's a pickup. And this is me coming from my Western musical background, the way we learn music and everything. So I kind of had an aha moment. I was like, you know what? I wonder if when I was playing that pattern, the rhythm I was playing did not start on the downbeat, but it started as a pickup. So I was really kind of thinking about that. And I even reached out to Esteban and I was like, hey, do you know if like how this is supposed to be? Like if this is supposed to be the downbeat? He didn't really know what this like he doesn't know. Like and that's the thing. A lot of the times beat one doesn't matter. It's like this is what it is and this is how we play it, you know? So which is again it was hard for me and I'm sure it's difficult for other students of music to kind of do that. And this kind of a side bit going back to when I was studying at University of Delaware with Orlando Cotto. Shout out to Orlando Cotto. Hoping to see you soon. But with Orlando Cotto, I remember taking conga lessons with him, and he would be showing me patterns, and he would basically just be like, he would play it, and then he would have me try to jump in to play along with him. But again, I'm like, I don't know where beat one is. You know, in my head, I'm like, I need to know where beat one is so I can understand how to interpret the rhythms and stuff. So I actually asked him. I was like, wait, where's beat one? And he was like, what are you talking about? Don't worry about beat one. Just play this. And then he kept playing it. I think I eventually got it, but it just made me realize how much we like think about and rely on that information rather than just knowing what the pattern is and going with the feel of it, you know. But coming back to Tambore's rhythm, right? Like I mentioned, I started on the downbeat, and that's how I was feeling it. So just so you can kind of, I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. So this is how I was feeling it, right? This is the beat, the big beat. So I was feeling it. Right? Boom. Boom. That bass is on the downbeat, right? Boom. Boom, ta, boom, ta, boom, ta, boom, ta. But again, as I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if the first note, or maybe even the first two notes, are pickup notes. So what that's going to sound like, I'll demonstrate real quick. So that first bass is going to be the pickup note. The second note, which is more of a slap sound, is the downbeat. Okay, so this is what it would sound like with that in mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So totally different feel. It's exactly the same rhythm, but because it's shifted over one note, it has a totally different feel to it. And if you don't have a metronome or a sense of timing to reference, it's really tough to tell where that downbeat is. Okay, and a lot of time, if I know more, I would have used the singing cues as a way to tell where the beat was, you know. But I was so focused on keeping the pattern going that I kind of always tried to block out the vocals so I didn't get off. But the pickup note changes it so much, right? So the pulse goes from the two bass notes on the B1, so almost like a waltz feel, right? And then I fill in. Right? But if I do again with the pickup, it changes to the slap sound. One. Right? Changes it completely. And then even if I shifted it over one more, so the second bass note's on the downbeat, then it kind of changes it again, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. right? And it kind of gives it more of that waltz feel again, that 3 feel rather than kind of a 6/8 feel, which I feel more when I feel more of the 6/8 when I do the first bass note only as the pickup. So the slap sound is the downbeat, I should say. So, and to be honest, I still have no clue what is right. So again, if anyone can help me out with that, Manelli, if you have some insight you can share with me, please, please, please hit me up and let me know. So what I want to do is I want to switch gears, going back to my experience with Segunda Quimbamba, and specifically the Holande pattern is what we were working on, and that's what got my brain kind of thinking about upbeats versus downbeats and when it starts and all that. So during our sessions, we were working on Holande. And Juan Cartagena, he did a great job of breaking this down, showing it different ways, showing it with the pickup, showing it starting on the downbeat, just without the pickup altogether. But I thought it was funny for me personally, when he was breaking it down and he started on the pickup, if he didn't count it off or anything, then it kind of, I just heard the rhythm totally different. So for Holande, if you're starting on the downbeat, right? Starting with the pickup note, sounds like this. Same exact rhythm, just with that extra note in there, which happens before the beat, but if you don't have a reference of time, it feels as though that's the first note and that's the downbeat, which can make the pattern feel totally different. So I'm gonna give you an example real quick. So let me slow this metronome down. So for Holande, so this is with the pickup correctly, okay? This is with the pickup played correctly in time, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So again, that's with the pickup played correctly, which is before the beat, which means beat 1 is the bass tone. Okay, so basically what you're hearing is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Okay, and there's actually kind of a call that they play to start it, which sounds like this. That third open tone is that pickup note before it starts. And that bass tone is beat 1. But without the count off, without any kind of rhythm or tempo beforehand, for me personally, as soon as I hear that first note, to me that's the downbeat. That's beat 1. So this is what I was hearing when he was demonstrating with the pickup. Okay, again, with no source of time. This is what I was hearing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Totally different rhythm, right? Totally different rhythm, but it's actually the exact same pattern. It's just shifted over an eighth note. If you're thinking in terms of rhythms, it's shifted over an eighth note, which gives it a totally different feel. So whenever he started it on the pickup note, I always felt it that way. And I would always try to flip my brain to feel it correctly, but I just wasn't able to do it like in the moment. It always was tripping me up. So whenever he started with that pickup note, I just had to feel it that, we'll call it the incorrect way, in order to be able to play. Because if I tried to flip my brain, I would, get off with the pattern and everything. So that's what I wanted to share with everybody, kind of what I realized while doing these classes with Segunda Quimbamba. I highly recommend joining up with them in Jersey City. I know they have their fall session coming up soon where they focus on Bomba and do plena as well. But yeah, the significance of the pickup versus the downbeat and understanding the two and how important that is. So, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you took something away from this. To all my musician friends, drummer friends, percussionist friends, hopefully you'll, take some time to continue to invest in your knowledge of the percussion art form and, never stop learning. There's always stuff to learn. And we know as percussionists, there's so many different avenues of percussion. So, hopefully, like I said, you took something away from this, and hopefully you'll tune into the next one. Thanks a lot. See you soon. Peace.